We have the manager installed, the node 1 installed and the node 2 installed, and during the installation we had configured the package manager apt to use the proxy. Now it is the time to install the packages, the Kubernetes packages on my manager node 1 and the node 2. I just had to remember a couple of things. Number one, the OS need to be configured to use the proxy, and we also need to skip proxy for the cluster internal communication. Second, the CRI also need to be configured to use the proxy. So these things we are going to configure. So I had made the things easy. There are a couple of scripts with the reference which I am sharing. You can use those scripts and configure it. So let's start doing it. This is the proxy where I have done the SSH. Now from here I'm going to hit my manager. So I do a SSH alloc at 10.0.0.200. Sorry, 100 is the IP of the manager. We need to accept the keys. That's it. Here we are on the manager. Now we need to install the Kubernetes packages, we need to install the CRI-O, we need to install all the things here. So better use the root access. Now we don't have any packages installed here, only the operating system is there, and which is configured, and the package manager is configured to use the proxy. Now how can you install the things? There are multiple ways of doing it. But before we go to installation of the packages, we need to configure the operating system to use the proxy. So you can go to the GitHub location where here it is, the github.com/networknuts/Kubernetes. That is the location. From here you can see the scripts folder. Go inside the scripts folder and copy this os proxy settings.sh. I copy this, I'll explain this. I copy this, I go back, I create a file, say os proxy settings, any name you can choose, and I paste the things here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure the proxy, the operating system to use this proxy, and no proxy for the internal communication, for the Kubernetes internal communication, no proxy for the pod network. So even the service network will be a part of the 10, so I can skip that and run this script and then source it. So let's do it. So I save and come out, just run the script sh os proxy settings will help you a lot. It's going to configure all the things for you. Perfect. It's doing it. And just run a source etc profile.d proxy.sh. So after this, if you run the environment command, if you run the environment, I should see this HTTP proxy, right? FTP proxy, HTTPS proxy. That means it is configured. Now you need to run the same script. This script will be running on all the machines. So if you go to the GitHub, I had very clearly mentioned here, run on all the machine of cluster, only if you are using the proxy, which we are using. So you have to run this on all the machine. So my operating system is configured to use the proxy. Now what? Now install the packages for the Kubernetes. Now again, how will I install the packages? If you go to kubernetes.io, and you just need to remember to search for specific words, go to the documentation section, and if you go here and search for kubeadm cluster install, you will get a lot of links. This is it, installing kubeadm. Click here. Here it is. So the instructions are very clearly mentioned here. You need a Linux host, we have. You need a 2 GB of RAM machine, we have. It should have a 2 core of CPU, we have. Full connectivity between machines, we have, and we have checked it. Certain ports need to be open, we will see. Swap should be disabled. So what I need to do, I need to go to the manager and check the status. Swap on -s, it is on. So I need to give a swap of -a. And to remove it permanently, because it is a temporary thing. Currently it is off, but the moment if somehow the machine get rebooted, it will be enabled again. So you go to the @cfs tab, you are aware of this, and comment out this entry. I normally don't remove the entries, just comment it out and give a mount of all, though not needed. Now the swap is permanently off. So this is what we have done. Now we need to check the network adapter. Certain ports need to be enabled. It should be free, it should not be used by any other service. So if I go to copy it, paste it, 6443, it is not being used by any of the other processes. Wonderful. So just read it. Keep on reading it. Install the container runtime. Now, this can be slightly lengthy job because this page might redirect you to other pages. So you might have to do some number of clicks. Like suppose I wanted to install the container runtime, but I don't know which container runtime I will be installing or which are supported. So you need to click here. So I do a right click here, open a new tab. So, okay, these container runtimes are supported: Containerd, Cryo, Docker Engine, Mirantis container runtime. We will be using Cryo. So that means I will be clicking on the Cryo, right? Cryo install instructions. So it takes a lot of clicks. Eventually you will get it. So here is the Cryo install instructions. So what I have done this hard work. I have done these clicks and I have created a file for you in the scripts folder. Common 1.27.1 with proxy, right? Go here. I'll change the name. It is not 127. It is 27, right? 1.27. The one is additional here. Makes sense now. I have changed it. Common this to all machines, huh? Common with proxy. That's all. So just run this common setup for all the servers. I had clearly mentioned it here. So here I am specifying the Kubernetes version. So if means you can go there and then come back. So again I will come back once the Cryo is installed. What next? See here. Then it asks me to install kubeadm, kubelet, kubectl. We had already talked about these components. So again the instructions are here. So you might be doing a lot of to and fro between different pages. So what I have done, I have copied and collected all these steps and created a script for you. It is disabling the swap, installing the Cryo. We are using specific version of the Kubernetes 1.27.0 and these steps are already there. So I had copied these steps. See, if you see installing Cryo, these steps are here. If you click on APT based operating systems, Ubuntu 22.04 is supported. So these are the steps. See, I had copied the same steps: mkdir, usr, share, keyrings. I had copied it from here and pasted it here. So a single script will do the job. So what this script will do, I'll give you in a nutshell. It is going to disable the swap for me. It is going to install the Cryo, installing Cryo. Then it is going to configure the Cryo to use the proxy. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a drop-in file for the Cryo. So this file, a drop-in file, will tell the Cryo that we are using the proxy. Now, if you are using a different IP address for the proxy, feel free to change it here. Then restarting the Cryo, then installing, configuring the DNS servers, name servers here. All right, installing the resolve.conf service, changing it, starting the services, then installing the kubelet, kubectl, kubeadm with the specific version. That's all. So I can copy this and run this script, which will make my life much more easier. Now this script need to be run on all the machines. This is a common script which you will be running on all the machines. So I copy this, I go back here, I create a file, say common.sh. Name can be anything, paste it here. So it will save over time. I save and come out. That's what the idea is, common.sh. So this is going to disable swap for me, install Cryo, configure Cryo to use Docker Hub, configure Cryo to use proxy, installing kubeadm, kubelet, kubectl. And this need to be run on all the machines. So this will take its time and we will have the manager ready with all the packages. Then I'm going to run the same script on node 1 and the node 2. So this need to be done. Only when all the machines manager node 1 and the node 2, they are executed. You have executed it with the OS proxy settings. So OS proxy settings.sh and common.sh. These need to be running on all the machines in the cluster. See, it is installing the Cryo now. And after this, it is going to configure it. to use the proxy. I had labeled the milestones so we can see up till where it is being successful. Installing it seems good to me. Perfect. This is good. Moving forward, so CRYO is installed. Yeah. Starting the service, configuring the CRYO to use the Docker Hub, configuring the CRYO to use the proxy. A drop-in file is created. Now setting up the name servers, DNS, and then we will be installing kubelet, kubectl, and kubeadm. So please go to node 1 and the node 2 and run these two scripts on machines. Two scripts common. First you need to configure the OS proxy settings script, and second you need to configure common 1.27.1 with proxy. This will be executed on all the machines in the cluster. And once it is done, I had given the command to reboot the node or the machine. Not needed, but fine, just to confirm that everything is properly installed, all the packages and everything. So it's going to be installing. So this is your task. SSH onto the manager. First run OS proxy setting script, and then run the common script, common 1.27.1 with proxy. Node 1 and the node 2 repeat the same scripts. So see, it is installing 1.27.1, the version of the Kubernetes which we have selected. Otherwise it will be installing the latest one. Now why I am not choosing the latest one? Because normally in the production we don't live on the edge. We don't always work with the latest one. We normally use n-1, the stable one. That is why. And then we will be doing upgrade also later in the class. That is why we have chosen a specific version, and that way we also learn how to pick a specific version of the Kubernetes. So script is working fine. It's good. Yeah, reboot. Perfect. All is good. So this is done. So again you have to repeat the same thing on node 1 and the node 2. So if you are good, you have executed the OS proxy settings and the common script on manager, node 1 and the node 2, you are good to go to the next topic.